Found wife's secret Google search, and now I know only one solution after I saw what she asked AP to do with her. I'm not doing great right now, so I will just jump right in. I've been with my wife for roughly 6 years, married for 3 of those. She has always been the type I would describe as fiercely loyal. Which is why I'm having such a hard time coming to terms with what I believe is happening. Whether she cheated on me or not, I've known something was up for a few weeks. I know her better than anybody, and I'm very good at reading people in general. I pick up on slight personality changes very easily. On to the story. It started a few weeks ago when she started hanging out with one of my best friends, 21M, we can call him Mark. We live in the same apartment complex with him and his wife, 22F. When they would meet up, it would typically just be the 2 of them over at his apartment. I know some people aren't comfortable with letting their so be alone with members of the opposite sex, or at least where I'm from, but I honestly didn't mind because, like I said, fiercely loyal, and I didn't feel like I ever had anything to worry about. The first thing that tipped me off was when she started getting secretive. I started noticing she was always texting someone, which in and of itself isn't out of the ordinary, because she makes at-home appointments with her clients. But what tipped me off was her body language while she was texting, very reserved and almost always facing towards me so I couldn't see the phone. To preface this next part, her iPad is linked with her iPhone, so everything she gets shows up on both, including texts. Now I want to say I have never snooped, and I don't agree with it. I think constant snooping with no reason other than paranoia is bad for a relationship in the long run. But I noticed some texts coming from Mark, and they were definitely not things appropriate between 2 married people. But this alone isn't enough to convince me anything happened. They weren't sexting per se, just talking about sexual topics. If it will help, I can go into more detail about this. At this point I think she realized I was onto her, whatever it is she's up to, because that's when all texts from him stopped. But I knew they were still in contact because she would still tell me of conversations they had while not together. I found out they have been using Snapchat's chatting feature to talk. And I have no way of knowing what they are talking about or anything because Snapchat deletes everything after you read it, I think. I don't really know how Snapchat works other than sending pictures and chatting, and even then, I rarely use it. Okay, so all of this has been happening, but I still didn't think anything happened between them. I trusted her, and yeah, maybe some of it was inappropriate, but we have a very open relationship and are extremely honest with each other. I figured if anything would have happened that would give me cause to worry, she would have told me. And then yesterday happened. We both worked until 8 last night, and then after she got off work she headed over to Mark's place. Note, she has a good alibi. I've seen texts from Mark's wife inviting her over. So I know that his wife was, at the very least, in the apartment when she went over. Now at this point I have given up on my no snooping rule because something is definitely up. So I started going through everything I could last night to try and figure this out. I ended up going through our Google account history, and that's when I saw it. A bunch of Google searches basically saying, bleeding after being fingered, I didn't ducking fin**ger her last night. We haven't had sex in weeks. Mostly because we really are both busy people, but even when I tried to initiate over the last week she kinda just blew me off. This morning I checked the history again, and there were more searches about it. I got pleased with fingers last night and got scratched, and it's still bleeding. Now I haven't said anything to her. I'm sure she knows something is up with me, she can read me just as well as I can read her. And out of the blue this morning she says that she was doing a salt scrub. She's an esthetician, so this isn't out of the ordinary, and it scratched her. I never broached the subject or gave her any reason to think that I know, so she told me this of her own volition. The weirdest thing about this morning, and the only reason I'm still trying to hold on to trusting her, is that she acted perfectly normal this morning. She was lovey-dovey and sweet, and it makes me want to think that this is all in my head and I'm crazy. Guys, I don't know what to believe anymore. I so badly want to give her the benefit of the doubt and believe her, but at this point I don't know what's real, and I don't have any solid proof that anything happened. And I don't know how to bring it up to her because at this point she can just deny everything, and then I'm the bad guy for not trusting her. I really just need some advice on how to handle this situation. I never thought I'd be dealing with this because of the amount of trust we have had in each other throughout our marriage. Edit. I feel like I should clear this up. The only way she was pleasing herself was if it was at Mark's house. She went straight over there after she got off work last night, and I was with her after she got home until she went to work the next day. And I didn't sleep last night, so she didn't do it in the middle of the night either. At this point, I am just waiting for her to get home from work. I still haven't decided how I'm going to confront her, but it's definitely happening tonight. Edit 2, still waiting for her to get home. But I do need to say that I really would be absolutely floored if Mark's wife had anything to do with it. Anything is possible, but I feel like I know them pretty well. But then again, I thought the same about my wife, so who the duck knows? My honest guess as to what happened is that the wife invited her over, but as it got late, went to bed and left my wife and Mark alone. But there's only one way to find out. I'll try to give an update after it's over. We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1. When you are available, we need to sit down and talk about what happened last night. Sit down, look at her, and wait. Silence can do way more than accusations. Comment 2. Listen, I'm no esthetician. However, I can tell you as a lady, I've never heard of someone salt scrubbing the inside of their vagina. Shoving salt up your vagina, in general, is a very bad idea as it would upset the pH balance. Additionally, no salt scrub would make you bleed. How would you even get in there to scrub hard enough to make that happen? She is using your ignorance of her profession as an alibi. Either way, there is no reason the word effingering would be in that search if that was the case, which I am certain it is not. Comment 3. Well, somebody helped your wife with fingers last night, and since it's not you, I'm sorry, man. Screenshot the searches and any other evidence you can find. Confront her and see what she says. Her reaction will tell you everything you need to know. I found my cheater GFM website, and she begs me to stay cause it's just to pay tuition. Me and my ex, who I will name Sophie, have been together since we were in year 9, English terms, at school. I'm a few months older than her, so I was 14, she was 13. We've never split in this time period or done anything with anyone else. It's been what my mother described as a perfect teenage romance. She's too soppy for my liking, lol. When me and Sophie were getting older, Sophie had a big falling out with her female friends during college/sixth form whilst she dealt with some family trouble. I stood up for Sophie, which made things worse, so at that time she decided she wanted to move away for university to experience life away from our hometown, as she put it, and to make new friends. I was upset, but I understood. She was crying a lot, she was upset quite a bit because of her friends dumping her, and I didn't want to be selfish and try and convince her too much to stay around. I told her, obviously, that I will really miss her, but for her own good and mental well-being to leave, and I wouldn't leave her for it. I have noticed that other than money worries, she has been much better since joining university, and her relationship got back to how it was, with no one to interfere in the middle of it. The problem is, however, last week I drove down on Friday night after I finished work to surprise my girlfriend. She didn't think I was coming, as her birthday is coming up. She thought I was coming on Saturday morning, but I wanted to spend all day with Sophie, not travel on Saturday, and I thought it would be cute to surprise her. I get to her house and her housemaid answers and lets me in. I whisper shush to her, so Sophie doesn't know what's happening, and sneak upstairs with a bouquet of flowers and her birthday gift/card in my hands. This is when I opened up her bedroom door. To my horror, she was on a well-known site doing a show. My jaw was in China, I was so shocked. She quickly shut her laptop and I just left, whilst she tried to get me to stay, but I told her there, and then we were through. After I cleared my head and decided this needed sorting, I messaged her that I would meet her in a random bar in her university town that she normally goes to on a Friday night anyway. I asked her straight up why. She told me that she's been struggling with finances for quite some time since her parents aren't very supportive, true, and she has had to rely on her student loans. Her student loan is the full amount for a UK student since her parents earn under the threshold BTW. I tell her that fair enough, I know it's hard, but why couldn't she get just a weekend job or something similar for when she's not at university instead of being a girl? She told me she wasn't going to give up her weekends out drinking, and that is part of the university lifestyle, which pissed me off, because if you were struggling so much, you wouldn't be able to go drinking every weekend. She told me she never told me because she knew I would react badly. I did react badly. She betrayed my trust, and she might not have physically cheated on me, but in a way it feels like she has. I told her we were done unless she gave up the work. She told me no. I just walked out and left. Ever since, my phone has been blowing up. I've blocked her on most things as I'm still incredibly hurt. I don't think I could go back now even if she did agree to stop now, because clearly her boozing and sessions are more important than me. I'm unsure how to proceed. At the moment, I feel like I am in the right and feel underappreciated/lonely. Did I do the right thing? And if I have/haven't, what should my next steps be? Update. First of all, I would like to say thank you for the helpful answers I received in my first post, and would also like to thank the people who respectfully disagreed with me. I would also like to apologize for getting angry at the people who tried to insult me for my opinion, but getting told she's better off without you etc. when I feel like I've done nothing wrong is a low blow. So on to the update. Last night I decided late on I'd go to a party where people I went to school with etc. were at one of my old friends' houses. The awkward thing though is I didn't know Allison would be there, who is Sophie's best friend from our area. Me and Allison have always gotten along really. We were never particularly close, but we've never had a problem with each other. She saw me and told me that whilst she doesn't agree with the behind my back, apparently she's known for a while, and told Sophie to tell me. She's upset that we split up and so is Sophie. I told Allison that it's more than just being a girl, it's the fact I didn't have the choice to be okay with it, the fact she's doing it and blowing it on drink and whatever else on a weekend, and how I felt undervalued that she would prefer to make money this way than try to save our relationship. Allison said she could see my point, but Sophie sees it differently according to her and thinks that I should be okay with it because I never knew what was going on and it didn't affect me in any way. I said that people being physically cheated on don't know what's going on, but it still affects them. This is how I felt, and that I obviously valued sex differently to Sophie these days. That it would be best to go no contact to save us heartache as we've obviously developed into two different people, and if Allison could tell her that would be great. Just about 25 minutes ago, I received a text from Allison saying that she told Sophie what I'd said, and Sophie said that it's her body, she can do what she wants, and that shouldn't concern me, that I'm being an idiot and should just accept that she makes more money doing this than I ever could to support herself. She showed me the text. Allison apparently unleashed on her because of how selfish she thought that was by Sophie, and I got the answer I needed in full. This isn't the same person I dated for 6 years. I've noticed changes slowly during university for her that I've ignored until now, but I feel like I just stayed with her because I loved her former self. So now I'm single for the first time in my adult life. I'm going to do things I've missed out on considering my friends have always called me whipped and actually be one of the lads. We have reached the end of the story. Let's listen to some of the comments by our Reddit listeners. Comment 1. She has the right to make money how she wants. But the fact remains that she lied to you for nearly a year, and was unapologetic when you were clearly hurt by her behavior. You don't need someone who dismisses your feelings like that. You did the right thing. There's plenty of other people out there, dude. Comment 2. Her decision not to talk to you about it was her big mistake. When people in a relationship become adults, a certain amount of communication is absolutely vital to staying strong. You are absolutely right to get out of it. If she's willing to do that for money without your knowledge despite your 6-year relationship, who knows what that could turn into later on when the stress of student debt, mortgages etc. hits. OP reply. It feels like a weight pulled off my shoulders that I can go out with my friends on a weekend to a pub/club without the next day getting shouted at because someone she doesn't like me being with was there, or that I didn't tell her I was going out. I understand now why my friends have called me whipped for years lol.